Namaste. Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome. I am just having a bit of fun tonight sharing decks. I have a bunch of new decks in my collection, and I thought that I would take some time to look at them with you. And I've arranged some of them in side-by-sides, so we can do that, a few of them tonight. And so these decks have been in storage, if you will, in the US, and I'm in Canada. I wasn't able to get to them. I ordered some of these what seems like a very long time ago. So February 2020. So some of these I received as long ago as that. And yeah, so these are a bunch of decks I ordered last year, and I'm going to start to share with you tonight. So my name is Sadhana. For those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. Today we're going to look at, in this video, we're going to look at two animal decks. Hi, Lydiane and Donna, welcome. The one that is on the left is the second edition of the Brady Tarot, and it is by Megan Wire-Whedon. Is that her name? Megan Wire-Whedon? And I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, so I apologize. It comes in this really cool holographic black box. Isn't that gorgeous? With the owl on the front. And then it slips open. So the cards, when the cards are in the box, they stand above this. This is the second edition. I have no idea the difference. I haven't even looked at a video of this. They stand like this. They're easily accessible. It's a really cool box. What the difference is between the first and second edition, I'm very sorry, I can't tell you that. I haven't watched a video of that. All I knew is that some time back, this was a deck I wanted to have in hand. There was something about the artwork that called to me. And I just wanted to share with you a couple of things from the beginning of the guidebook, which is written by Rachel Pollack, which means that it's probably an excellent guidebook. It's quite chunky, and there's a lot of information for each of the cards, including information about the species of the animal. And I will take some time tonight to look at one or two of the cards, and I will show you what the guidebook looks like. It's beautifully bound, it's sewn, and so the spine definitely will not break here. But hi Anna, hi Andy. Where are we? Banners. So this deck is a tribute to the people who care for and learn from the land of North America, and is an attempt to honor the lessons and stories they passed on for millennia. If cultural appropriation or misappropriation is an issue for anyone, there is an invitation on Megan's website. I'm sorry, this is Emmy Brady. My bad. The Brady Tarot is by Emmy Brady. The Anima Mundi is by Megan Wire-Whedon. Sorry. Down below in the description box, I have the link to Emmy's website. And on her website, there's an invitation to have a conversation about cultural appropriation if you feel that this deck does not serve. Her writing about this is so beautiful, and she quotes a translation of a story that talks about healing the hoop, healing the circle of all peoples. And in her expression, she talks about this being a conversation. Actually, this one here. This is a conversation, not a commandment. So those are in the words of Emmy Brady. And she has a couple of, in the guidebook at the beginning, there's a couple pages written by Emmy, and then the remainder of the guidebook is written by Rachel Pollack, who some of you will know as a tremendous resource in the tarot community. The deck on the right is the Anima Mundi by Megan Wire Read It. And it is little tiny white. Oh, that's a self-love tarot. Wrong guidebook. Anima Mundi is a smaller guidebook written by Megan herself. There's the two guidebooks. How can I do this? Like that. And definitely not as chunky. There is limited information about the species that are chosen. However, you do get the Latin name, whether it's a flower or an animal, so you can go and research that. And yeah, so there's not much said here other than this is a nature-inspired deck and it's based off the Rider-Waite. Interestingly, both of these decks were created around the same time. The Anima Mundi is acrylic paintings done in 2017. And the Brady Tarot is lino cuts that were done in 2017 and 2018. And I believe the second edition is just smaller, but if anybody wants to pop into the chat the difference between the first and second edition of the Brady Tarot, I don't believe you can get a first edition unless you would get a, unless you get it from somebody else. So my plan today is to go through the entire deck and briefly comment. We can have a chat about anything that comes up for you and impressions. I'm not sure if we'll have time for any kind of a reading at the end, but never say never. And I will be, and then in an hour's time, I'm going to be back on with two other decks. Another deck that I've pulled out today, and I'm going to spend some time probably on my own, is the Wilder Woven Tarot. This was a gift from Tarot Stash. This is the Wilder Woven. And so I kind of want to look at these decks together. Perhaps the Anima Mundi and the Wilder Woven. So maybe that's a future side-by-side. I don't know. But right now, I do not have an animal deck that I have out all the time. And I would really like to have an animal deck that I'm using for readings. So tonight, next week, at some point, I'm going to choose and make sure I have one that's on my rack, on my tarot rack over there. Hello to Anna and Jen and Andy. Gardening. Who is gardening? Gardening. Andy says, I think of the Brady Tarot as my National Geographic deck. So here we go. All right. You've been staring at the Fool long enough. Love the white rose. And I'll talk about cardstock and the backs. Well, you can kind of see the backs here. And all of that in a moment. But there's quite a different feel to the decks. One is a white border, a thick white border. One has a black border. Very different feeling of energy. Oh, Jan, you're so lucky. Gardening in the beautiful spring weather. Well, enjoy planting those seeds. Why do I have, let's do this. I think I did something not quite right here. Let's get this going here. So there's Magician. It's because I used the High Priestess for the, for the thumbnail. That's why it was out of order. Okay, so here you have Magician and Magician. So let me know if you're using these decks and if there's any particular, these are the two cards I used in the thumbnail. If there's any particular way that you use them, or a mood of a reading that you use them with. Also you'll notice that in the Anima Mundi, there are some cards that have plants and trees. I'll just read you in Megan's words here about the Anima Mundi, because I think she does make a little mention of it. Her translation is the world's soul. I thought she addressed why she chose that title. Perhaps not. Maybe I read it on her website. This is the peony, one of my favorite flowers, as the Empress, a symbol of fertility. And here in the Brady, we have several different species, and we see fertility throughout the land, not just one species. So that's kind of interesting. Abundance of life. And so this reminds me, other people have done this as well too, often with the deciduous tree as the Empress, and then the evergreen tree as the Emperor. And look at the elk on top of the mountain. I'm assuming it's an elk, but let's get the species right. Yes, it's called Brady because the creator's name is Emmy Brady. That is why. So the Emperor, the bull elk. We see the bull elk bugling his power alone on top of jagged mountains. Also, which is really cool, is that both of these creators live not too far from where I am. So the Megan Wheaton is in the Seattle area, and Emmy Brady is in Colorado. Aloha, Jonathan. Aloha. So one of the things I was thinking about that is challenging with the Brady Tarot is that I'm going to make sure that I'm reading it in daylight, because some of the cards are quite dark. But the Hierophant, you can see all of the symbols. Love the way that the book is shared here, and we have this, this representation on the book in the Hierophant. This is very, very interesting that they both chose the cranes for the Lovers. And in the Brady Tarot, we see more of the active mating dance. And I've seen these in Hokkaido. So when you go to Hokkaido, the northern island of Japan, and then you go to Sapporo and you head to the east, there is this massive reservoir, preserved large area of marshlands where you can go and observe the cranes. And it's, like I said, really interesting. These decks were created about the same time, and both of these women chose that same animal for the Lover's card, which is kind of cool. Perhaps there was something in the ether at that time about that particular animal. And then we have the Chariot. So there is a lot of detail in the Brady that's going to take time. It's going to take time to familiarize myself with. I'm glad that there's a variety of backgrounds. It's not all, blue sky or dark sky and, Wow, look at it's definitely a grizzly bear. Mimi, hello, and Irene, namaste, welcome. And we have the Hermit as the owl and the octopus. That is, it's such a stunning Hermit card. So I'm assuming that is the image that is on the box. One of you asked me today when I was on earlier if I let people touch my cards, and I just noticed I've got greasy fingerprints on this beautiful black box. Can you see? There we go. There's the Hermit. Oh, it's such a cool black on black box. Okay, let's carry on. Let's carry on. I have a feeling I might not be able to do three lives tonight. Spider web as Wheel of Fortune is huge favorite. And so in the Anima Mundi, we have the cycle of life shown down below with the bones of an animal. That's right. It came with a gorgeous wooden box in the first edition. Now I remember. And can you confirm, Anna, that the cards, these cards are smaller? I believe the first edition was very large cards. So in both of these decks, 8 is strength and 11 is justice. Okay, the Hanged Man. This is the first time I've seen a spider as a hanged man. That's right, Jonathan, with the spider web as the wheel. Seems to me another deck does that as well too. So here we have some kind of, and this is so cool. Okay, I'm going to have to get magnifying glasses to, this card is so thick. Wow, really thick. Okay, so look at this. Look at that above the, is it a sloth? I'll look and see what it is. But it's like there's my little pointer. It's like magic. I think those are the little paws, and then it's got all this kind of something magical going on up here. And this little creature is looking towards the light. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. Okay. So that would be great, right? If you're doing a reading and you have the web and you have the spider come up in the same reading. So here we have a snake shedding its skin for death. And then this is really kind of cool. So we have above ground, we have the skull, and below ground, we have the, we also have the skull, and we have some bones that are decomposing in the soil. Yeah. So these are tarot. Both of these decks are pretty much a standard tarot size. Perhaps a little bit, these are a little bit larger. And then for Temperance, I believe it's a rhodo, or is it an azalea? It is an azalea, I think. Azalea. Temperance. No, it's a, oh, that's interesting. So did you know that azalea, the Latin name for azalea is rhododendron? I guess they're the same sort of plant. Okay. And there's no notes on why azalea was chosen. It's a good thing I have reference books. Okay, so for the devil in Anima Mundi, we have a human. Okay, and then we have a bunch of skulls. And what's going on here? Like I said, it's going to take some time to get to know this deck. Now, when I was putting everything in order, preparing for tonight, I did notice that these flames here in the tower, this actually looks like the head of a phoenix to me. It's almost like we see a phoenix upside down here. It's very cool. And this is Mount St. Helens. So for those of you that live in the Pacific Northwest, you'll know which mountain this is. This actually erupted during my lifetime. I remember that. I remember that vividly. We actually had ash that came all the way to Vancouver. I know that's nothing for those of you that live in areas where there's always erupting volcanoes. And here is another similarity, right? We have a similar, if not the same species in the star card. So the Lover's card and the star card. Kind of cool. It's nice with the continuity of Owl as High Priestess and Owl as Moon with the feminine archetypes. It's nice when those cards come up together and we can have a conversation between the High Priestess and the Moon. So there's your Moon and Sun. And so we have a horse. Love the colors of the Sun and the Brady. It's really beautiful, really beautiful. So we have a very magical, it almost looks like the horse in the Anima Mundi is a unicorn. It's so pure and white. And what I'm picking up on in Anima Mundi is some kind of a story going on here. You know, like there's something, there's a really good flow of energy between Moon and Sun and Judgment. And then here's the World card, which to me looks a little gloomy. Looks a little gloomy in the Anima Mundi. And it's surprising because we don't have these trees in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm wondering if there is a hidden message in the artificial planting of things that don't belong. I'm not sure about that. Okay, so when we go to the minor suits, the Brady Tarot places everything in the same order of the Tetragrammaton. So wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. And the suits are changed, which I will talk about in a second. And in the Anima Mundi, the suits are presented in a different order. I have, however, reordered them in wands and cups and swords and pentacles. And there's no discussion in the book why they are presented in a different order. Pentacles, just for your information, is the first suit that shows up, which kind of makes sense in an animal deck, but I would really love it if deck creators explained their choice in why, if they're changing the order, why they're changing the order. It'd be really cool. So feathers is the suit of wands in the Brady Tarot. And I'm going to read to you why that is the choice, because for a lot of people that might not make sense. The borders contain red triangles. The use of feathers by many Native American people can be somewhat analogous to wands in European tradition. Feathers are used to guide smoke in ceremony, further connecting feathers and fire. So, simple explanation. The Anima Mundi is definitely more pippish. And if you like that kind of spaciousness in a deck, it might be interesting to compare the minor arcana of the Anima Mundi to the Spacious Tarot, actually, which is another new deck for me. And I'm really starting to, in the summer, I picked up the Field Tarot. What else did I pick up? I really am enjoying less. Less is definitely more. I have a deep, deep appreciation for lino cut prints. When I was in university, I did an undergrad in elementary education, and we had to take a couple of art courses. And I remember one evening going back to the art studio, and because I had to finish my lino cut, and oh my goodness, I sliced myself so badly. So badly. So we have pansies. So this is 6 of Wands. And I kind of like the keywords in the Brady. What was I saying? Oh, so I managed to, there was nobody around. It was the middle of the night. So I wrapped up my hand, made my way to the university hospital, barely made my way over to the university hospital to get stitched up. So I have great respect for people who can do lino prints. It's funny. Seven of Wands. I'm really liking the minors in the Anima Mundi. This is quite the card. See the lightning there as well too. These are really, really beautiful. Okay. Swiftness. This is actually kind of so one of the things that is talked about in this deck is that this is real wilderness, real wildlife. Yeah. How many of you have actually seen an eagle or an owl or another bird of prey pick up another animal? So here are 9 of Wands. I was talking today when I was on earlier about why we might choose a confronting deck. And I really think it helps us to check in, to get a reality check, get us out of our inertia. So the Anima Mundi has page, Knight, Queens, and Kings. And then we have daughters, I believe daughters, sons. I don't think it's mothers and fathers. I think it's, well, we'll see. We will see. I thought for a minute, I think it was queens. Oh, no, it is. That makes sense. Daughters, sons, mothers, and fathers. Hmm. Okay. And then we're going to go to cups. There's a peacefulness, there's a peacefulness in the Anima Mundi. So the cups in the Brady Tarot are horns. And so for those of you that who love those old Arthurian kind of TV shows and movies, you've seen people drinking their beverages from their horns. Cups, water becomes horns, and the borders contain blue waves. Horn and antler are traditional materials used by many different Native American cultures to craft vessels for liquids. Well, also all over the world, right, in that time period. Although horns and antlers are biologically distinct structures, they are used interchangeably in this suit. And I'll have to look and see. So in the Brady Tarot, in the Two of Cups, what is the species? Two of Horns, I should say. The species, albatrosses. Cranes perform, so there's a bunch of things here. There are differences between the whooping cranes with the lovers and the Leon albatrosses. Cranes perform their wild battle-like dance every year. We humans think of this as renewing their vows. The albatrosses perform their dance only once at the start of their union. Thus, while the Lover's card might indicate an ongoing relationship or indeed a renewal or a reminder to bring back the wild joy, the Two of Horns suggests something new. That's cool information. And then we have the seahorses. What is inside the seashell? I think we're just looking at another shell in front of the shell. That's the Four of Cups. Okay. I was watching Nova last night, and I don't know if are these beavers? Or are they weasels, or what are they? Oh no, they're otters. No, what are they? They're probably beavers because they're cutting down trees. And the largest beaver dam in the world was photographed from space. And it's one of the cuts on the planet that can be seen from space. The largest beaver dam in Canada, somewhere north of northern Ontario. I really like that Eight of Cups on the left. Departure is a cool keyword for that. False teeth, real tarot. Thank you. Wow. I really like that. That resonates with me a lot. Okay. Fulfillment in the 9. I feel, really grateful for where I live in the world. And I've actually had an opportunity to see all kinds of wildlife up close in mostly in British Columbia. Okay, and then court cards for the cups. And the Father of Cups in the Brady is, what is it? I really, really like it when there's details in the book and I don't have to go research it. It's very helpful. So the Father of Horns is, it doesn't help that I'm looking sideways and can't see it. Another antlered creature who stands alone on the narrow hilltop. But where the Emperor Elk seems to have fought his way to the top of his icy mountain, leaving behind skulls, this white-tailed deer stands calmly and confidently on the green hilltop. The horn, symbol of nourishment, abundance, or joy, is in so many cards here, hangs from a tree branch, almost like a trophy of his success. The top of the branch resembles the deer's antlers, another symbol of his power. But there are no leaves on the branches, suggesting that his concern for control and authority can lead to a sterile life. Well, there we go. Okay. And then we're going to go to swords. And swords in this deck are, what are swords? Swords become arrows, and the borders contain white lines. Like swords, arrows are weapons and are projectiles. They further fit as the air suit. Okay, so in the Brady Tarot, we have feathers for wands, horns for cups, arrows for swords. I love your name, False Teeth Real Tarot. It's a great channel name. So what I want to ask you, all of you in the chat, is if you can name, what is my question? What is your go-to animal deck? If you want to pull out an animal deck and, you know, really connect with the energy of fauna, which one do you go to first? And why? That's my question for you. Oh, look at the sky. I love the sky and the Six of Swords. That's gorgeous. Wow. That's brilliant. Brilliant. I love the painting. Great keyword, guile. Jonathan, if I wasn't so at home in Hawaii, I have thought about living in BC. It's cold in BC though, Jonathan. We have warm temperatures about 5 weeks of the year. Okay, so Jonathan's go-to is oak, ash, and thorn. And so speaking of oak, ash, and thorn, everybody get the notification that October 31st opens the pre-sale for Smoke, Ash, and Ember, the Dragon deck. Anna votes for Tarot Fauna. Rich colors, simple, not so harsh as Brady, less romantic than Anima Mundi. Okay, so everybody take note. I like these cards. Ooh. You know, I really like a Nine of Swords done well. And I feel both of these. Anna, Way of the Panda. What is it you like about Way of the Panda, Andy? Very similar, aren't they, those cards? Okay. The first edition or earlier editions of the Anima Mundi had blood. And from the third edition on, or the third printing on, the blood was removed. Anna likes animal totem too. Okay, and then these are the quartz. So page, knight, mother and queen, and then the king of swords, the father of swords. It's kind of, this deck's kind of romantic, isn't it? It feels romantic. Well, aren't you lucky, Jonathan Daly? That was very nice of Stephanie. That will be my first dragon deck. So probably my first and only dragon deck. I'm really looking forward to it. And then here's the final suit. So in the Brady Tarot, the earth coins become roots. And the borders contain ochre heels. Earth is the suit of currency in the European tarot tradition, and the currency of nature is energy. Roots act as, and this, I really like this notion. Roots act as both a channel and a cache for energy in the plant kingdom. Thanks for answering my question, Andy. I love the way of the panda. It has a really encouraging way about it. There's something magical about the Ace of Pentacles, isn't there? I like that keyword enchantment. And I have to tell you that there's several Aces of Pentacles where I feel that enchantment. My first deck, the Robin Wood, that's exactly how I felt with the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, 2. Bees. Way of the Panda has rose petal cardstock, so it can be sticky. But like all, I mean, this one is rose petal too, right? Like all rose petal cardstock, you need to shuffle the heck out of it to get it going. Wow, congratulations, Jonathan. That's wonderful. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, the simplicity of these minors is really something. Oh, look at the elephant in that one. So here we are at 7 of Pentacles. And so what I want to do with this deck is to really take my time with it and go into the roots and look at the roots in each of the cards and kind of feel the energy of the roots. The roots is really, really powerful. And so when I do the chakra course in January, this suit, just because of this connection, feels like an important suit to include in the Muladhara week. Yeah, I gotta remember that, write it down. Okay, so there we go, 8, 9, Bye, Mimi. You have a good evening too. Oh my God, I absolutely love this Daughter of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. It's so sweet. So sweet. Okay, just a few more. There's the Sun and the Knight. Queen of Pentacles as the Deer. Mother of Roots as the some kind of an ant, termite or an ant. And then the last one is the Father of Roots. And the Father of Pentacles. There we go. So details. Anima Mundi is linen cardstock. So super easy to shuffle, no sticking. It does have gilding. It has shiny gold gilding. So if you're a riffle shuffler, this is right out of the box, easy to shuffle. The Brady Tarot, the second edition, is a little bit, so let's turn this one over. So it is both taller and wider ever so slightly than standard tarot size. And it is rose petals. So it's going to take some time to break in and to get past the stickiness. And then if we're going to look at the GSM, this one is thick. You saw me kind of wondering about if that was actually one card. I was trying to separate cards. So this one has the matte gold gilding. Oh my goodness. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I did not plug in my computer. I'm back. So what I was saying is, and I will try to edit that out later. If we're comparing the GSM, so the GSM is definitely thicker in the Brady Tarot. So you need larger hands definitely to shuffle the Brady Tarot. Okay, so sorry about that little cut out. You need to plug in your computer when you're going live so you don't power is essential. Power is essential. Okay, I'm going to quickly clean off my desk, and now the computer's charging again. I will be back on shortly, and we'll look at 2 more decks. Thanks for hanging out with me. Namaste. Bye, everybody. Really appreciate all your feedback in the chat.